Okay. Do you want me to start sharing my screen, or do I wait until after your intro?
You can start putting up. Wait, let me get into it. We're live on YouTube. Okay, so let me just start off with the intro, and then you could start sharing your screen. There's nothing wrong with sharing your screen. Share your screen. So once I do the intro, we're good to go.
Okay.
Intro, and then you could start sharing your screen. There's nothing wrong with sharing your screen. Share your screen. So once I do the intro. Okay. Good morning. We're going to start the session this morning by introducing our speaker, Omo Clark. Omo is a globally recognized technology entrepreneur, digital transformer, business coach, mentor, and thought leader with over 2 years of impactful contribution across technology, entrepreneurship, global socio-economic development. She's the founder of Ibez Consulting, a Nigerian-based software development firm that created significant digital and web solutions addressing critical issues such as unemployment, digital literacy, health access, financial inclusion. A key innovation from Ibez was HandyJacks, a platform that connected skills worker with employment opportunity, which notably contributed to creating approximately 1,500 jobs in Edo State, Nigeria, through a partnership with DAI and MAID 2, and was supported by UK DFID. Her portfolio includes developing digital solutions for adverse clients in sectors such as healthcare, finance, education, government, and demonstrating her ability to design and implement systems that streamline processes and enable social economic progress. Beyond her entrepreneurial endeavors, Omo is a passionate advocate for digital inclusion and empowerment, particularly for women and underrepresented groups in technology. She mentors and coaches thousands through various programs and initiatives, focusing on bridging the digital skill gap and providing equitable access to digital literacy. As an accomplished speaker, Omo shares her expertise at numerous conferences and on various media platforms, discussing topics on women in technology, AI, and digital transformation. She's also actively engaged in academia, pursuing a PhD in information systems with a specialization in health informatics at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, where her research focuses on automating online health narratives using NLPs, narration construction, casual AI, and knowledge graphs. Omo's work and leadership has garnered significant recognition, including being listed as notable women in technology and receiving awards for her role in promoting sustainable innovation and technology. Her extensive experience in global perspective and commitment to leveraging technology for social benefit and for societal benefit makes her a key leader in driving digital information and AI growth. I would say to all of you, let us welcome Omo as she starts her webinar on AI, entrepreneurship, and innovation. We look forward to having an interesting and interactive session with Omo. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Omo, you have the floor.
Thank you. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to this workshop on AI, entrepreneurship, and innovation. So over the next hour, we'll explore how we can leverage the incredible power of AI, artificial intelligence, to build, scale, and innovate a business or a product. So here's our agenda for today. We'll start with the big picture, the fundamentals of AI and why they matter for business leaders or owners, entrepreneurs. Then we'll move to a strategic framework for implementation and then discuss how to accelerate innovation. We'll finish with concrete steps followed by a Q&A. My goal is to take you on a logical journey from theory to practical, actionable strategy. So Bailey already introduced me. The only thing I'll add is I've been in software development for over 20 years, and I've been running iBase for over 10 years. So let's start. We're currently, as all of you might know, currently in a competitive frontier driven by AI. This is not just an incremental change, it's a fundamental reshaping of business opportunities. The economist Joseph Schumpeter called this the creative destruction, the process where new innovations dismantle old ways of doing business. If you look on the right on the screen, a perfect example of this is Netflix versus Blockbuster. Netflix didn't just rent movies online, they use machine learning, which is a type of AI, to analyze viewer data and create a deeply personalized experience. This data-driven approach created so much value that Blockbuster's retail value simply couldn't compete. This is the disruptive power we're here to talk about today. So before we go any further, let's demystify AI and some of the terminologies a little bit. So what's exactly is AI, artificial intelligence? Everybody says it. And, don't tell me it's ChatGPT. This term is used everywhere. At its core, AI refers to any system at all that allows machines, which is computers, to sense, reason, act, or adapt like human beings. If you look on the Venn diagram, the best way to describe the landscape is to think of it like a Russian nesting doll. AI is the biggest of the dolls, which is the entire field. And inside of that, we have machine learning, or ML, as it is called. And this is where it gets interesting for businesses, actually. So instead of programming explicit rules as we used to do in the past, now with ML, we feed the machine's data and it learns the patterns itself. Also inside of ML, we have things like deep learning. Deep learning is something that I used to create deep fakes, if you ever heard of that, which uses even more complex models to solve intricate problems. This is the technology that powers things like advanced image recognition, used in health, large language models or LLMs, which is behind tools like ChatGPT. Different AI technologies are used for different things, so it's good to know which one is the right one to use for whatever it is you want to do, the job you want to perform. So this is a quick, high-level tour of 4 key capabilities of our AI toolkit. You don't need to be a technical expert, so let me just put that one out there, but it's good to know what the different technologies are, so you know the one that you can map to your solution or the problem you're trying to fix. So first off, computer vision. Simply put, this is about giving machine eyes. That's why it's vision. It enables computers to interpret and understand the visual world. This is the technology that allows a factory camera, for example, to spot a microscopic flaw in a product, or enables your phone that you use to unlock just by seeing your face, facial recognition. It's used everywhere from medical imaging to managing retail inventory. Then the second card on there, NLP, which is called natural language processing, is about teaching computers to understand our natural language, both written and spoken. Every time you use a customer service chatbot, for example, for Ask Siri or Alexa, or you see a document automatically summarized, you're seeing NLP at work. It's the cornerstone of modern AI. When you write comments on social media, for example, you're using that's all done using natural processing, because a computer cannot understand natural language the way we speak. And the way you write online is like speaking to a person, natural language. So a computer needs to process this to computer language, and NLP does that. The third is robotics. This is where AI gets physical, designing intelligent machines that perform tasks in the real world. Think of robots that you might see in, for example, an Amazon warehouse, sorting and moving packages with incredible speed, or the precision of robotic arms in advanced manufacturing or even surgery. So a lot of times when people talk about machines taking over people's jobs, this is what they're literally thinking about. And robots will not take over your jobs. At least most jobs they won't take over. Then the final category is a category that's actually driving immense business value, machine learning for prediction. This is a crystal ball of AI. It uses your existing data to forecast future outcomes. It's how your business can predict what customers are likely to churn, for example, or what sales you'll be doing the next quarter, or make financial predictions, or set the optimal price for your product right now. This is often the starting point for many businesses or entrepreneurs looking to leverage their data. So once again, the goal here is not for you to be a coding expert, but for you to look at a business problem and ask, do I need my machine to see, read, act, or predict? And these four I've just mentioned are not the only AI technologies. There are others, but they're the ones I'm focusing on for today. So before we move further, generative AI. Now, this is the AI that literally has captured everyone's attention in recent times. Gen AI. Simply put, it is AI that creates original content. It is the creative side of AI. If you look on the right side of the screen, it's AI that learns patterns from data, which it uses to generate brand new text or audio or images or even software code. The example here is perfect. A marketing team, for example, can use an AI tool like Midjourney to generate dozens of visual concepts for an AI ad in minutes. A process that used to take days, for example, can have human designers, with human designers, even the best ones, is now reduced, to minutes. So it's a powerful tool for creativity and efficiency. Gen AI is just one of the it's just one of the incredibly powerful technologies at our fingertips. But having the right tools is one thing. Knowing how to build a business or a product from them is another. So this brings us to the core of our workshop today, a proven playbook for turning these technologies into successful ventures. And here is my 3-step plan for doing so. We've talked about major shifts in AI that AI is causing and the incredible opportunities it creates. But opportunity can be overwhelming. The most common question I often get is, where do I even start with IT? So to cut through all of that complexity, I use a simple proven playbook. This framework is designed to address the 3 most common failure points, and it's my 3-point plan for building successful AI companies or businesses or products. It's designed to systematically de-risk the entire process and focus your energies where it matters most. So it begins with step 1, which is customer discovery and problem definition. This is the foundation. It is non-negotiable. Before we even think of algorithms or data, we have to find the real painful problem that people are willing to pay to solve. We get out of when we get out of this building, you get out of the building that you're in, and you go out to talk to potential clients, customers, and focus relentlessly on their pain points. So this step is about finding out the why of why you're doing what you're doing. So once you have validated your problem that is genuine, you move on to step 2, which is market research and business planning. This is where you answer the question, is this a viable business? We assess the market size, analyze the competition, and then build a robust business plan. So now we've moved on from why to how. How we'll operate, how we'll compete, how we'll make money. Then the 3rd step, after you've completed the first 2 steps, is commercialization and scaling. This is where technology finally takes the center stage. We build a minimum viable product, the MVP. We launch it to our target market and focus on building the engines for sustainable growth. This framework ensures that we are not just building something cool, but we are building something that matters to customers, the people that matter, and to the market. So throughout the rest of this workshop, we're going to walk through this plan together, starting with the most critical part of the foundation, step 1. So the aim of customer discovery and problem definition is to provide a strategic framework to help you identify where you are and where you could go. So now we begin to think about finding our problem. It's useful to understand the different levels of ambition we can actually have with AI. So I call this the spectrum of AI in business. On the left, level 1, we have the task automation. This is where you are essentially using an IT tool, so think of an off-the-shelf software like ChatGPT to write email or digital marketing content. Your goal here is simply to work faster. Now, a lot of mistake entrepreneurs and business owners make is when they use ChatGPT, they will say, oh, I'm using AI for my business, which you are, but you are not. You know what I mean? You're just using the tool to work faster. It's automation. In the middle level, which is level 2, we have process automation. This is where you are building an AI-enabled product. You're using AI technology to create a new way to deliver value to your customer. So there's a company called Do Not Pay is a perfect example. Their product, which they call a robot lawyer, uses AI to automate the entire process of contesting a parking ticket and provides various other legal services. On the right, which is level 3, is now strategic integration. This is where you are building a true AI-enabled company business. AI is not just part of the product. You are not just using it for efficiency, but now it is the business. So there's a company called Stitch Fix. It's an online styling service that uses recommendation algorithms and data science to personalize clothing items based on size, product, budget, and style. The company will not exist without its AI styling algorithm. So here in level 3, your goal is to disrupt the entire market. So let's talk about the single most important step in this entire process. Many businesses these days start with, when they want to become AI or tech enabled or AI enabled, they start with the new technology and then they go and search for a problem to solve. But we're not doing that. We're going to flip that script. This brings us to our practical framework for finding your opportunity. And there are 2 key ideas here. First, focus on innovation, not just invention. So an invention is a great idea when you're sitting and you're like, oh, Eureka, I created this thing, but it's not an invention, it's not an innovation. An innovation is taking that same idea and making it and getting it into the marketplace and getting it to thrive, because people are willing to buy it, people are willing to use it, they are willing to pay good money for it. So the goal here is not to build something cool, something in your bedroom. It's actually to build something that people actually need. So as we say, not all good ideas are great ideas. So you need to make sure that your idea is one that people will pay for. Or rather, not all good ideas are good business ideas. So second, to find the need, you must adopt an innovator's mindset. This means that actively looking for friction, frustration, and inefficiency in the world around you. Where are people wasting time or money? This is where your opportunity lies. Or where can people save money? Your opportunity lies here as well. So all of this boils down to this single crucial piece of advice. Don't start with the technology, start with the problem. If you remember one thing from this section, make it this. So let me give you a perfect real-world example of this principle in action. If you look at the case study there, real-world example, the founders of Do Not Pay, the company I mentioned before, didn't start with a passion for NLP, natural language processing. They started with a universal frustration, fighting parking ticket fines. It's an annoying, time-consuming process. They identified that clear, painful problem, and then they applied AI technology and automation to it to create what they call the world's first robot lawyer. They started with a problem, and in doing so, they turned the common problem into a viable multi-million-dollar business. With this mindset, this is the mindset we need to adopt to successfully define our problem. So now that we have a clear high-value problem statement, the next logical phase is to create a business case around that. And it brings us to our next step, which is market research and business planning. Once you have your problem in mind, so how do you execute? The lean startup is the way. The lean startup methodology is critical, especially for AI ventures, which can be complex and capital intensive. So to get started, first, use the lean canvas to create your business model. It's the lean model canvas is a one-page business plan that forces clarity. Second, Prioritize customer discovery, which I talked about earlier. Talk to your potential customers to validate that the problem you are solving is one that they will actually pay for before spending all that time and effort. And the cheapest way to do this, this is the cheapest way to avoid failure. The third is to develop an MVP, a minimum viable product. So Dropbox, I'm sure you've all heard of Dropbox, is a classic, their story is a classic example of how to use the lean startup methodology. Which they really implemented successfully. They didn't build the entire system first. What they did was make a simple video demonstrating their idea, and the overwhelming response they got from that actually validated their market and helped them successfully find funding before they went on to write millions of code and turn it into what it is today. So let's talk a little bit about the lean business model canvas. It can look intimidating, but let's go through it logically. The key here is to see how the boxes connect. So first of all, start with the relationship between your customer segment, which you can see on there, your target customers, and their problems. Who are your target customers, and what are their top 3 problems? After you've done that, think about your unique value proposition. This is the heart of your business, your promise to your customers. So it sits right in the middle, it's the heart. After that, go to your solution. What are the top 3 features you build to address the problems you've identified? From here, then you map out how to reach your customers through channels. So the channels are things like, are you going to reach them through social media? Is it going to be direct marketing? Are you going to be doing email marketing? Is it influencer marketing? How are you going to reach your customers? Then after you've done that, how are you going to fund your this product or company? Where will the revenues come from? And what are your cost structures? What will you be paying out? When you've done this, think about how you will measure your success. What are the key metrics you will use, the key performance indicators you will use to measure to see whether you are succeeding or not. And finally, think about what your unfair advantage is. This is what they call the secret sauce. So if you think of Coca-Cola, for example, people say they have like some secret ingredient they put in that makes people drink it. I don't know. But what is your secret sauce? What is your unfair advantage? If you have another business down the road that is doing something similar to you, why should people choose you rather than them? So that's your unfair advantage. You need to think about that. So this tool, the lean business canvas, brings your entire business model into one page. It brings your business plan. You can write like 50, 100, 500 pages of business plan, but this is your business plan in one page. And that's how we use the lean canvas to map out your entire business model. So if you want, you can reach out to me later and I can send you a template of this. So once your business plan canvas is complete, and you've validated your assumptions, you finally have the green light to move from planning to execution. This was where we enter the final and most exciting phase, commercialization and scaling. So we've identified the problem you want to fix, a real problem, genuine problem that is causing people headaches. You've planned your solution using the lean canvas. Now we get to the crucial question: how will you actually make money? A business exists to make money unless you're an NGO. So how will you make money? For many tech businesses, standard subscriptions are always the first option people go for. But AI unlocks very specific and powerful monetization models. Let's look at the top 3. First, we have usage-based pricing. Think of this as your electricity bill. You only pay for what you use. This is becoming the standard for AI services that perform a discrete task. For example, if you're using an AI transcription or transcription AI, for example, you might pay per minute of audio processed. If you're using a generative AI tool for images, you pay per image created. It's direct, it's transparent, and it scales directly with the value your customer is getting at that moment. Next is tiered subscription. This is the model we're all familiar with. but with an AI twist. Instead of just offering more features, you create tiers based on the sophistication of the AI, your AI solution. The basic plan might offer standard business analytics. Your pro plan might, however, unlock predictive forecasting and what if scenarios. It's a fantastic way to create a clear upgrade path for customers as their needs become more and more complex. Finally, the holy grail for many high impact B2B AI companies is value based pricing. This is the most advanced strategy. Here, your pricing is directly tied to your return on the return on investments you generate. For example, if your AI platform creates a logistic company, saves ₦1 million a year on fuel costs, your fee is a percentage of that saving. It's a true partnership model. Your success is inextricably linked to the customer success. It requires confidence in your product, and the rewards can be very immense. So the key takeaway here is that you should choose the model that most closely aligns with the value your AI delivers. With that critical pricing model in hand, we can now build the engine to attract your first customers, which is our go-to-market strategy. So now that we have a product and a pricing model, you need a plan to get it into the hands of your customers. A go-to-market strategy for an AI product has a few unique considerations. First, you must define your channel strategy. So you remember on the lean business plan, there was the channel. So you need to define that very clearly. Then you have to align your sales motion with your product's price and complexity. You won't use a high-paid enterprise sales team, for example, to sell ₦100 a month AI writing assistant. Conversely, you can't sell a complex multi-naira AI platform that overhauls an entire factory operation with just a website and a buy now button. You must align the channel to the value of the product or service you're offering with your AI solution or service. And then secondly, and this is crucial for B2B AI, you need to structure value-driven pilots. Because AI can sometimes feel like a black box, customers are often hesitant to commit to a large contract upfront. So a structured pilot program is your best sales tools. The goal here is to end the pilot with a hard, undeniable metric. You want to be able to say, in our 60-day pilot, we used your data to reduce fraudulent transactions by 75%. A result like that makes the purchasing decision really easy. And then if you look on the third panel there, finally, you have to market the outcome, not the algorithm. So no one buys an algorithm. They buy a solution, i.e. you can't just be like, oh, I'm using ChatGPT and they'll buy it. They won't even buy it. They'll go and use ChatGPT themselves. They buy a solution to their problem. Your marketing must reflect this. Don't say our neural network is built on a transformer architecture. Instead say, we help your team write marketing copy twice as fast. Focus entirely on the concrete value you're offering and the outcome you provide. So this brings us to the most important rule for taking an AI product to market. In AI, the best marketing is provable ROI, return on investments. So scaling your venture, how do you do that? Now you've launched your product, you have customers, you have revenue. The final stage is scaling. Scaling an AI product or company is uniquely different from other types of businesses or products because it relies on two interconnected engines. So on the left, the first is what we call the data flywheel. This is arguably the most powerful competitive advantage in the AI economy. Let's walk through it. It starts with a great IT product. So if you look on here, it starts with a great IT product that attracts your first users. Those users, simply by using your product, generate more data. That data, whether it's search queries or images or user behavior, is the fuel you use to train and improve your AI models. For better models, in turn, those better models in turn create even better, more accurate and more useful AI products because they learn from each other. And what does a better product do? It attracts even more users. So this creates a virtuous circle, a defensible moat that gets deeper and wider with every single person who uses your service. Your product gets smarter, it makes it harder and harder for competitors to catch up. So if you look on the right, but this flywheel doesn't turn on its own. You need a second engine, which is assembling an AI-ready team. Scaling AI is a team sport. You need your technical experts, your data scientists, your machine learning engineers who build the models, and crucially or critically, you need an AI product manager who deeply understands the customer problem, and an AI ethicist who can navigate the complex risk and biases of bias and privacy. And this is important, especially in environments where AI technologies are not natively created, because products that are created in Western context are often biased, i.e., because they are not created with, for example, non-Western context in mind. So that's very important. And then you need a team that can manage not just the technology, but the product, the strategy, and the governance around it. If you are a small business, for example, one-man company, you're just starting out and you don't have the bandwidth to get an AI-ready team in-house, you can obviously always contract people, you can outsource, you can come to people like me, and we can help you. True sustainability, sustainable scaling happens when these two engines on the screen are in sync. A powerful data flywheel driven by a world-class cross-functional team. As you scale, there's one fundamental element that underpins everything, and that's trust. Trust in the AI world is paramount. You can have the best tech, the best team, but if your customers don't trust you with their data or your brand, or they don't trust your brand, your flywheel will grind to an halt almost immediately. This is why our final strategic topic is arguably the most important: building trust in the AI era. Building an amazing technology is not enough. In the age of AI, where data is the new currency, trust is your most valuable asset. Long-term success is impossible without it. And it comes down to these three core pillars I've got on screen. Transparency about how you use data, very super important. Robust security to protect that data, and then a commitment to ethical practices. Apple, the company, is a masterclass in this. They build trust by making privacy a core product feature. When they launched Face ID, for example, they didn't just say, hey, it works. They explicitly explained that your data is encrypted, that it stays on your device, that communication builds a and that communication builds a powerful culture of trust. So, bringing our time together to a close, let's crystallize everything I've talked about into a clear path forward. And I'm going to give you like homework. These four are the four key principles to guide you and to take away from this workshop. First and most importantly, apply AI to solve simple, focused problems. Don't try to boil an ocean. The biggest successes come from finding a single point of friction and then solving it brilliantly. Second, balance creative ideas with strategic planning. A brilliant idea is only half the equation. Use tools like Lean Canvas to ensure that your idea is attached to a viable business model. Third, progress from efficiency to strategic advantage. It's great to start by using AI to make your internal processes faster, but the real lasting win comes when your AI becomes your core competitive moat. And finally, prioritize trust and ethics from day one. In the age of AI, trust is your most valuable asset. It must be built on the foundation of your product, not added as an afterthought. Now, these four principles all serve one powerful idea, best summarized by the legendary management theorist Peter Drucker. Six simple, focused solutions. And there is no better real-world example than Square the company. Square the company didn't set out to build a new bank. They solved one simple, focused problem, letting a small business accept a credit card using a phone. And by focusing on and solving that single problem, they fundamentally disrupted an entire industry. So my challenge to you is this: go out and find your parking ticket solution. Do not pay your credit card reader square. Start with that one simple focus problems. Do that, and you will be well on your way to building a truly successful AI enabled business or product. Before we go, I have some homework for you: action plan and next steps. So I know I've covered a huge amount of ground in this short session. It's a lot to take in, so I don't want to overwhelm you with just too much. These are things that we need to chew over and then go through each stage step by step in the future. From we've gone from high level strategy of the AI landscape all the way to specifics of scaling a venture. But knowledge without action is just trivia. So the final stage here for my presentation today is designed to give you a concrete plan to turn all of these ideas I've talked about into reality, starting from the moment you leave this call. On the left, you see a simple 90-day implementation roadmap. The goal here is to build a billion naira company in 3 months. How do we do that? The goal is to build momentum by breaking down the journey into manageable steps. In your first 30 days, focus on just discovery. Forget about technology for the moment. Forget about AI. Forget about ChatGPT, Gemini, NLP, ML, vision, neural networks, computer vision. Forget about all that. Your only job here is to identify and truly understand one high value problem. Talk to people, listen to their frustrations, look in your environment. What are the things going wrong? What are the pain points? And then become an expert on that one single pain point. Then in the next 30 days, move to planning and validation. Take that one problem and build a simple lean canvas for you. The most important part of this phase is getting out there and validating your
for building a house. Not to in the room.
Sorry.
The most important part of this phase is getting out there and validating your core assumptions with at least 5 potential customers. 5 real life customers, and not your family or friends. Because family or friends, even though they are great, they are not great when it comes to like business planning, because they tell you what you want to hear. They say you're good when maybe not. They say they will buy from you when maybe people out there will not. So go and find out 5 potential people that are not friends and family. And then in the final 30 days, scope your MVP, your minimum viable product. What is the absolute smallest, simplest thing you can build to test your solution? You don't need a massive budget. You can start a pilot using existing low code or no code AI tools. So you can start with that. Now, you don't have to do this alone. So I've listed a few key resources to help you on this journey. I highly, highly, highly recommend the Lean Starter by Eric Ries. It's the foundation text for this entire agile approach. Tools like Miro are fantastic for building your digital canvases, and Zapier is great for testing automation ideas without needing to code. And of course, if you like to dive deeper on your specific idea and you want a strategic partner to guide you, feel free to schedule a follow-up session with me or speak to the organizers, and we can find a way forward. So I hope this roadmap gives you the confidence to take that first crucial step. The journey of building a great AI-enabled product or company does not start with a giant leap, but with one focused, deliberate action. So thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for engagement. And with all of this said, I am open for Q&A for your questions. And feel free to contact me if you want directly by scanning the QR code on screen. Thank you. So, questions?
I would like to ask, it was a very interesting session. And I'm looking at the very last slide, which is speaking about the 90 days implementation roadmap. So where, for instance, you have your discovery and your ideation, and you've been able to put that down on paper, what would when you say planning and validation, how do we go about doing putting together some kind of plan to be able to move ourselves to bringing our ideation into a proper business? From the point of view of having come up with a discovery, you know what the idea is, you know that it can actually help society. So when you put together that planning, you've done that write-up, you've done the come up with the codes. How would you be able to advise for people like us that want to move to that level where we are able to bring our ideation into a business that makes money?
Okay, so before you move to code is the last phase. Yeah. When you've discovered the problems, you have your idea. Yeah. It's a viable real world problem. Put it on paper. So that's the lean canvas. Yeah. I don't know. Should I go back to the lean canvas? So that's the lean canvas. Write that out, in detail, in proper detail. Yeah. And then with that, go and speak to 5 people, random people, not your friends and family or your colleagues at work, random people. Speak to them about that to get their feedback. Potential customers, people you've identified that are your customers. Will they pay for it? Is this something they would use? Does it make sense to them? So that's the validation of your idea. You need to validate. And I said 5, it doesn't have to be 5. You can speak to 20 people to make sure that when you actually, because to build an AI system, it costs money, you know what I mean? So will this actually work? And it might not cost you that much money but it depends on what you're doing, When you've gotten that validation, we've looked at your business plan, anybody looks at it out there and you're like, okay, this will work, then build your MVP, minimum viable product. So that's your soft launch, as it's called, pilot. So first of all, that's your business plan, the business canvas. People need to make sure that makes sense to them. Does this work? Will I pay for this? Is this just like is it just like fancy? It doesn't make sense. So make sure you do that. It's crucial, because a lot of people, I get people, they'll be like, oh, it's not, customers are not coming, people are not buying this. I have a good idea. So if you don't go through this step thoroughly and you just think this is good, I will do it, and then you go and do it, so make sure you do that and you are satisfied that random people, actually would use this. Do a survey. You can do a random survey. If you have money, you can do a focus group of people you don't know. Once they validate that, then go to the MVP. That's your pilot. Build an initial product, using one of any of these tools out there, and then take that to market, put it out there, see if people will use it. When they start using it and everything is making sense, then build the final full product.
Just a quick one. So the MVP, would it be like the coded app being published, or would it be that it would just be your write-up still? Because my moving from that space, from moving from the ideation, the planning, and like from when you've done the validation. So validation is that you've shared something with people that you think might need the services, and they've been able to validate it. So you move from that stage by putting an MVP. So what would the MVP be? Would it be what you'd publish up there for people to use or test?
It will be an actual coded program application.
So that's the technology.
It will be the actual technology. But when you're doing your validation, it's not people you think will use it, it's people that will actually use it. So you've identified the target market. You need to go to that target market. You are the guys, I am building this, what will I call? I'll use something they've already done, robot lawyer. You are the people this is for. So I take you to the actual people, put it in their face, and then get their feedback on paper. Once I get the go ahead, the green light, then I'll build the MVP, which is an actual product, software product. or an AI product, as it were. And then you put that one out there, but it won't be like all singing or dancing like a full product. It would be with the core features, and then put that out there to see how well it's working. Once you're like, this thing is moving, or there's good take up, then you start adding more features to it. But the MVP, which is called minimum viable, the minimum thing you can put out there without spending your entire selling your house and your cars, and nothing comes out of it.
Okay. Thank you. I teach legal design, and one of the issues I have is just in trying to. So I teach them the design. We come up with a design, and when we get to that design stage, moving to the next level just seems to be. It's like you don't have the materials to get them to move to that final stage. So this the action plan that you've given here actually makes a lot of sense to be able to move the students from that level to the next level. So I think it's definitely interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you, Omo, for that insightful presentation.
Thank you.
I've learned quite a lot. As a lawyer, I tend to focus more on the compliance side of AI. But with what you just explained now, I'm almost moved to start my own AI company. So and that's huge credit to you. So I actually have a question, and this is based on a lot of things scandals I've been seeing in the news involving AI companies that actually claim they are building an AI tool that automates a particular process or help solve people's problems, and in actual fact it is actually human beings behind the scenes that are actually doing the work that was hyped up to be done by AI. So the question I'm asking, and from what I also come to understand, from journeys I've taken on AI strategy and governance, is that sometimes there are certain problems that are there are issues with there's actually a habit, a tendency for people to overestimate the capability of AIs, in the sense that sometimes AI systems can be offered to solve a problem that actually an AI system cannot solve. So is it possible you could have an MVP, okay, that actually works in the test phase, but in practice, in reality, the MVP fails, the actual AI tool fails to solve the complex business problem or pain points? Is that possible? And are there ways you can tell when the MVP may work in theory but not so well in practice?
Okay, so that's an amazing question. Very good. What I would really love to know, those companies that are actually saying they are using AI and behind the scenes is actually human beings doing the work. I would go back to a lot of businesses when they start. So I do a lot of judging. I do startup judging for businesses, and I judge a lot of companies. They will come and they will say, we are using AI for our business. And I'll say to them, so what AI technology are you using? They will say to me, ChatGPT, some Gemini. And I'm like, ChatGPT and Gemini are not AI technologies you are using to run and create a business. Your business model cannot be built on I'm using ChatGPT, and which is why when I started this presentation, I took some time to explain the different types of AI technologies. ChatGPT is a tool that's, accessible to everybody. It's for efficiency, helps you do things quicker, faster, sometimes better, sometimes not better, because ChatGPT, these AI tools, they lie, i.e. they what's it called? Not hibernate, the word that just gone out of my head. They hallucinate. Hallucination means they hallucinate when they've not been trained on that data information, so they just start churning out rubbish. So you can't use that as a business plan. So in my opinion, and especially being an AI researcher, and I build, for my research, I build AI tools, and I see people that build AI tools. The only way, in my opinion, that you will have a product out there called an AI product, and it's not doing what it says on the tin, is if you have not understood the assignment and you don't understand AI and the AI technology specifically you are using. AI is not a thing. AI is made up of many things. So in my research, in the product I'm building, I use NLP, I use machine learning, So yes, it's AI, but the actual AI technology I'm using is NLP, is machine learning. So when you build a tool that will go out there and it doesn't do what it does, is because the person does not understand the AI. They've possibly gone and decided I will use ChatGPT, and then they've discovered that we can't use that's not a business model, ChatGPT. So if you are building an MVP and you're saying and it will not do what it's doing, is because you haven't gone through the steps, you have not matched the problem to the right technology tool, so it's not doing what you've said it will do on the team. You have not understood, the technology you are using. So those companies, I would like to know who they are, not that I will do anything about it, but the only way they'll do that is because they have not used the right technology and they possibly do not understand AI. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. To some extent, I think to give you one of the companies, I think one was is an e-commerce company by the name Nate.
E-commerce.
Nate. Yes, Nate. Nate. That's the name.
NIT.
Nate. Nate. Nate.
Oh, Nate. Okay, where are they based?
I think they were. I think it's somewhere in the west. I'm not sure exactly sure of the country, but I think
I
it's in the
just want
west. And they were
I
using
just
remote
want
workers
to
in Philippines.
okay, I just want to Google them. Um, so yeah, so that's the reason, to be honest. If you understand the technology, it would do. And also realize AI grows so fast and it's very fast moving. New ways of doing things are coming around every day. What we actually call AI today has been around for ages, and we've been using this in technology for ages. What makes it different is the Gen AI component of it, the learning from the data, so you don't have to code every day, Um, uh, so yeah, sorry, I've just read about Nate. It closed down. So yes, so you possibly need a lot of people do what they call translation research these days, i.e., someone like me that is a PhD doctoral researcher researches on the AI and then we turn it into a business. But you don't have to do that. You just need to ensure that you understand the AI you're using, or go and find somebody again like me that understands AI, and can actually map the correct AI solution to what you're doing and help you work through that process. That's the way to do it. Thank you.
Please, I would like to say a big thank you to Omo for academic prowess. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We are live on YouTube, so you could go watch on YouTube and comment there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Omar, have a good morning and go
Thank
back to
you.
sleep.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sorry. I'm like, you didn't scan the QR code. Okay. No worries. No worries at all. 1 second.